Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Art of Awesomeness podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Kiswani, accompanied today by your also host, Christian Caito. Welcome, Christian.
Hello.
This is episode 66 of the Art of Awesomeness podcast. Very special episode because it is the last episode ever.
Yes.
Yes. It's the last
Let's go.
episode of it's the last episode of this season, season 3. Christian almost died, and we will be starting season 4 next week. So right before
Yes,
we start this episode, just want to say thank you to all of you who have followed us throughout all 3 seasons up to this point, and we hope to see you for season
that's
4.
true.
So enjoy this episode that we have for you because I think it's a pretty good one. But before that, we do of course have the first order of
That's
business.
right.
So happy National Apricot Day, happy National Balloon Ascension Day, happy National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, National Static Electricity Day, and National Sunday Supper Day, which is the
It's
second Sunday
true.
in January if you care about that. So there you go.
Sweet. Awesome.
Nice.
I love that.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. Today's topic is one that's very close to home for at least whatever Christian and I are experiencing at the moment. But
Mhm.
we're hoping that because the majority of our audience is within our age group, that it will hopefully kind of transfer to any of you guys out there, where even if it doesn't necessarily apply directly, you can kind of take elements of it to apply to your life
Mhm.
for the better. And that topic is going to be essentially how to keep a friendship alive is what
That's
the
right.
title of this podcast is. And the reason why we're doing that is obviously more related to Christian, but it is kind of on both ends in the sense that with Christian going off to college, well, this week, I guess, basically,
If you
um,
want to get technical, I
if we want to
guess.
get technical, yeah,
Mhm.
um, that means that essentially Christian and I won't be living in the same neighborhood as we have been since what, sixth grade?
Yeah, that's weird. 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-ish years ish.
Seven-ish. So basically that's a change for our friendship. He's obviously going to be quite a distance away, and eventually when I go off to college it's probably going to be even further of a distance.
Yeah, well, we actually will probably be. Do you think we'll be closer?
I don't know, I think I did the calculation. I think it's actually farther because if you think about it, it goes up, you know.
Oh, that's further? Oh,
Yeah, I think so, at least compared to where we live, but I don't know, that's a
okay. I
technicality of it.
guess. I
but
guess
um
so.
But, obviously, I would imagine that like a romantic kind of a relationship would be far harder, which I think that you have a bit of experience with, you know, as far as like long
Yes.
long distance and that kind of a thing. So this won't be a romantic kind of delve into. I mean, we might do that in another episode or something like that, dealing with long distance or something like that.
Hmm.
But in regards
Yes.
to this episode, this is just how to keep a friendship alive because Christian and I are best friends, and obviously, as best friends, this is a shift where the opportunity to hang out as friends do as often won't necessarily be there or as prevalent. So this episode is really just kind of our
Sure.
take on how to keep a friendship alive and well, and how to keep growth in a relationship with your best friend when perhaps a distance or circumstances, even just circumstances, kind of uh,
Hmm.
draw the kind of friends in separate directions in life, because I mean, I guess
That's
we'll
true.
kind of delve into it, but plenty of the friends who you had in high school, obviously, after high school, you didn't really talk to them after that, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's not uncommon for friends to part ways and then just kind of fade out, you know what I'm saying?
That's
So
true. For the ones
this,
that really click, the ones that really matter, though.
yeah, 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 yeah,
This
for
this is
sure.
what it's all about. This is the magic right here. So
So
we're gonna show
this
you guys what to do.
this is kind of just our delve into it. So I know that Christian, I kind of talked enough in the beginning right there. You said that you had just some general kind of points or ideas that you had kind of formulated
Yes.
about this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
do you want to go over the first
Yes. And
kind of bit of?
actually, to make sure I have a point. Hang on, folks. Let me get it.
We'll be right back, folks.
Huh? Oh, it's here.
He's currently
To
getting
make
a
sure that I
katana.
place emphasis on these points. I brought the thing that helps me study for anything, and that's my wand,
Is that a Harry Potter wand?
my study wand.
Nice.
And it's magically proven. It's actually scientifically proven. This does have real magic in it,
Okay.
and it's actually real magic.
Is that Ron's
Uh,
wand?
Ew. No, it's Harry's. This
Okay.
is actually Harry Potter's real wand that
Wow,
they
you
used in the
stole it?
movie. And they used in
Damn.
the movie and the one that they made at Universal Studios. But this has real magic in it. I turned it off though, because I didn't want to be dangerous with it.
Fair
But
enough. That's smart.
just in case, but this is real. This has real magic.
Okay.
And this is, I already put a spell on, by holding this, it'll retain a little bit easier and hopefully it'll help you guys pick out something that will stick better with you after all these points I'm gonna make. So the first point
All right.
is obviously, I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer, but
Mm.
stay in touch.
Let's clap it up, dude. Dude.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Okay. Stay in touch. Obviously, you can't for anybody out there. You can't sustain a good friendship without staying in touch. And to further that, like you can't. I think it's staying in touch is obviously the foundation, right?
Right.
It's the foundation. Um, oh, I just realized that close foundation, but I think consistency or finding a way to be consistent in you meeting up or talking,
Mm.
that's really going to set the tone for the future. Like finding like even once a month, I was watching a video about this a while ago, but people like staying in touch and maintaining these connections. One guy even like once a week he just sends a random text to the person he wants to stay close with, like a random word like dog or backpack or goo or something. And just because it's like comes up and it comes up as you messaging them and it kind of brings them back for momentarily into your mind and kind
Mm.
of so find a way to be consistent with your communication. I
Yeah,
think
that's solid.
consistent at least once a week, depending on the relationship, once a week, once a month. I don't know anybody that's like once a year, like maintaining a close connection. That's once a year, or once a month.
Yeah.
I guess it's different for everybody because I'm thinking about us.
Yeah.
I know for us, it's probably gonna be more than once or two times, more than maybe like two or more times a week.
Yeah, I
We're
would say that on average, the amount of times that we reach out to one another, anyways, is about that. You
yeah.
know?
So being consistent when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Ding! Find a way to be consistent. Like when we do, because we're going to keep doing the
Yep.
podcast, and even for more personally though, because I know a lot of people have podcasts,
Yeah.
but more personally, when it comes to being consistent, maybe it's just like, hey, every morning before you head out to do whatever it is, going to work, going to school, text, hey man, woman, or whoever, have a good day. Thinking about you. Talk to you later. You can do that
Mm.
every morning, every other day, however, but just setting a time and then doing that consistently. It's
Yeah.
because it's better than if on the other hand if you're not doing anything and then fast forward and you guys are not close. You guys hate each other. We don't hate each other, but you're just not close.
It's an epic like battle.
And, and like all these little things, it's not like a big thing to
Yeah,
just say,
yeah,
"Hey, what's up?" You could just say that, or like, "Hey," even "Hey," just be like, "Hey." That's it.
yeah.
Just do that, but be consistent with it because
Mm.
at least that connection, that mental connection of keeping that person in your mind will still be fresh. So I
Yeah.
know with Adrian, I know with you, bro, that's gonna happen. I'm
Hey.
probably gonna start doing that more. Because I want to start doing that more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even with other people in my life, like my grandparents,
Oh, for
who I
sure.
won't see as much. But for you, even if it's just like at lunch or so, just being, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I promise.
Yeah. Hey, nice. But I know that in regards to the podcast, it's I think it's been something that at least I know I've thought about a lot, how we're going to deal with this podcast with you obviously being in a different state. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, as any viewer of this podcast or listener of this podcast would probably know, we have done this over Zoom quite a number of times, like we are now,
Yes.
to accommodate for that very situation. If Christian was in Santa Barbara, or if he was, maybe we've done it with you in Las Vegas before. I don't really know,
Yes.
but I know
Yeah, I
that.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel
Yeah.
like we might have.
Maybe. Yeah.
But anyways, just we've utilized Zoom and stuff like that before for this very situation, so
Hmm.
obviously it's not going to stop the podcast from happening, but I know
Correct.
that our favorite way to record the podcast is in person. It's just more fun. It feels more like, well, we're
It's more
there,
natural,
it's more
right?
natural. It
I
feels
think
more conversational.
we're close enough where it's kind of where we don't. That's not the first thing we think about. Is, oh, I wish this was in person. It would be nice, but I think we make it work to a point where it's like, okay, so this is it, but still,
Yeah,
like,
it's just kind of like the best you can do with what you have at the moment, right? Which is
hmm,
basically the only
yeah,
way that you can start. So I just want to kind of let people know, kind of on the note, what you were talking about. Obviously keeping in touch and in contact. For anyone who's worried that this podcast might, take a quick break, we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that we can maintain it consistent. So we talked, if
yes,
that has to be pre-recording or something like that, or maybe if Christian is getting acclimated to his new environment, we can bring on other like filler kind of guests like Nick and
hmm,
Lucas who would be happy to jump on. And we
hmm,
have some cool plans coming up for fourth season, so obviously that's something to look forward to.
hmm,
But I think this kind of ties back to another previous podcast we did, and kind of one of my points that kind of ties into this as far as keeping a friendship alive is being able to adapt the friendship to whatever circumstances kind of occur.
mm,
Being able to be kind of flexible with the friendship and not having it be stagnant. Because I know that a lot of friendships are kind of based on something that's kind of stagnant, and if that goes away, the friendship goes away.
that's
So, like
true.
for example, if two people were friends at a job, right, and they're coworkers, and they're friends because they're coworkers, and then one of them leaves the job or something, they
Hmm.
might stop being friends because they were only friends in that capacity, right?
Correct.
So I think
That's
that
true.
being able to kind of be adaptable with your friendship in the sense that you can, you know, just for an example, it's an easy example. If you work with someone and you two develop a good friendship, even if one of you leaves that job or something of that sort, you guys can still meet up, hang out, and bond over other things that are beyond the scope of your work
Hmm.
or your school, or whatever brought you guys together to be friends in the first place. So I'd like, what came to mind was like, okay, well, obviously circumstances are changing. So the best thing you can do is adapt accordingly. So
Hmm.
ways to do that, like you said, reach out, obviously stay in touch. That's how friendships are formed and how they last. And then also just whatever you two, bond over. So for example, if it's a love for YouTube or podcasting or something of that sort, just adapt around
Hmm.
that, and help it to be more form fitting to whatever direction the friendship is going in. So
That's true.
that was when I thought of the whole topic. That's kind of the first piece of uh, thinking that went to my mind when I thought of it. So
Hmm.
I would say that. I don't know what your
That's
thoughts on
good.
like having to adapt on things are, but like if you were, I guess I'll ask you this: if things were the way that they are, right, which they are, if you were going to Nevada and actually, well, you do know how long you're going to go there, right? I was thinking
Hmm.
that you didn't know for a second, but it's 2 years.
Uh,
Is that right?
well, 2 years. Well, I'm gonna keep going there until if the plan is to just keep going there until I get my like until I complete my studies and just keep going until.
Okay, got
But
it.
if I don't know if something does happen where it's like I do need to transfer somehow, if like some family stuff comes up because a lot of that stuff has been going on. That's actually
Oh, okay.
something that's been thrown around. Excuse me,
Mm.
something that's been thrown around is a lot of family stuff has been coming up. So there's a chance that an emergency may come up. I may have to revert and do some schooling for a while back here. But the
Mm.
plan is hopefully to keep going to Nevada until then.
Yeah, I kind of just had it in my mind that was 2 years, but before I went with where I was going with the whole hypothetical thing, I just kind of wanted to see.
Yeah, I
So
see
I
what you
guess
mean.
let's just say that it's like 2 years that you're going to Nevada or something like that.
Mm,
You can kind of gauge your adaptation of the friendship based on certain things that you know. So
mm,
like my mom was saying this, for example, she was saying, oh well, if you guys go off to college like out of state or something like that, which I know is something that both of you, and I've been toying around with it, the idea with at the moment, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, I guess in that context of like college specifically, which is something I know that a lot of people our age are kind of going through,
mm-hmm,
it's you kind of know generally the amount of time with which you're going to have to deal with that change.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? So you can kind of like hit certain markers, like endpoints, like, oh, well, so and so comes back for summer vacation, so and so comes back for winter you break or spring break, that kind of a thing, right? So you can kind of hit markers of where you guys can actually meet up and resume kind of normal in-person friendship, you know, where you guys just walking around talking, doing cool activities like Christian and I were just talking about, like climbing Mount Diablo or like biking, that kind
Yes.
of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just cool stuff like that, you know. But I would say being able to adapt to whatever situation arises, you know, accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, it's different for everybody, but I'm just
Yeah.
using ours as an example. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, being able to adapt and accepting the situation. I know it's going to be difficult because, people have different relationships, and I know it's going to be difficult for some people in some aspects, um, depending on how close you are and other factors. But it's I guess it's important too to take your time with it and to know that it's going to be hard and just accept the idea and the fact that it is and will be hard, so that when it happens, it won't be surprising to you. It'll still be something
Mm,
that's difficult that you have to go through, but it's like, I knew this would happen, but I'm giving myself that room to breathe. I'm giving myself that room to adjust to the situation, which is a very good point, Mr.
mm,
Kiswani. Good point.
yeah.
Continuing on, continue, continuing off that. Oh, so so that's another thing.
Uh,
Since we're talking about acceptance and the idea of recognizing a situation and
acceptance.
accepting, well, yeah, well said, accepting it. That doesn't mean too. One thing that really did help. Let me set the scene for you, okay?
Yeah, set the scene.
So we
What if like someone had never seen our podcast before? That's the one clip they saw.
is me going like.
Like, what's your podcast about? We just send them a short clip of
Yeah,
that,
just
you know?
just just binge that. Just binge this.
Yeah.
Get to it.
I'll make a loop.
So my mom and I, we
Mm.
get coffee, right? We've been trying to go more so because of, it's one of my last few times here, uh, permanently before I come back. Before I come back, I'll just say
Christian's
that.
leaving forever.
Before I come back, which reiterates my point I'm about to say.
Mm.
Um, and we were talking about dates and like future events, and I was going through it a little bit, especially when I first came here. I was going through it, but on the way there, I was kind of going through it a little bit, like, oh man, it's sad. But then my mom and I, we started dishing out date ideas of when they would come to visit, because we have a place out there when they would come to visit, and vice versa. When I would come here, like for spring break, too, especially spring break. I want to come back for spring break.
Mm.
Um, and then just ideas of like when they were coming and when I was gonna come, and just like this going here and that going here and there and there, and like just throwing these things around.
Yeah.
And it's oddly enough that made me feel a lot better. That made me feel a lot better, and I was like, wow, okay, that relieved a lot of pressure and a lot of hectic emotion going on up there. So,
Mm.
in short, while you are accepting the situation, don't be afraid to plan when you guys will see each other again, because there's benefits to that. I mean, first, not only will you get to see your friends and family again and loved ones, but having a date on the calendar that you can count down towards and just look and say, this is when we're going to meet up again.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, aside from you keeping in touch with them already over FaceTime, which is also a big thing, FaceTime and texting.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, it is FaceTime especially too. But having a date of saying when you're gonna meet up again, and having that on the calendar and just having that being official, it helps a lot, because I think in our mind too, we kind of set up the idea of moving away as a temp or a permanent fix, a permanent,
Right.
especially when we're just getting used to it. It's something that we can build up in our heads as being something that's really set and unchanging, and that can
Mm.
be scary. So I think having a date and talking about the idea of when you may see each other, it may not happen for sure on this day, and the things always happen in life that may cause you to switch it out and change your plans accordingly. But having a general idea, that really does go a long way, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that goes a long way. I didn't realize that until we were driving. We were talking about dates and when we are gonna see each other again. I'm like, wow, that makes me feel a lot better. So because it just reinforces the idea that you're going through a change, uh, but it doesn't mean you're leaving behind everything in the past, and
Right.
it gives you something
And
to look forward to.
you know, the this situation in particular that we're kind of drawing some of this experience from is it's not just friendship related, because obviously ours is a friendship, right? But like you and your mom, for example, you know, that's another relationship that is obviously, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being affected by this, you know. So it's good that, you know, especially, you know, you two, because I know that you and your mom, sorry, are very close. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, it only makes sense to plan and to, you know, make something that might be a bit hard, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more manageable, you know, and make it a little bit more smaller in your head. Because I forget who said the quote, so you know, forgive me whoever said it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's that we suffer more in our minds than in reality, you know, because we just make reality
Mm-hmm.
seem a whole lot more worse than it really is. So we suffer more actually here than we actually do out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, at
Wow.
least like in our situation, I don't think it's as hard because we're already best friends. It's like our friendship isn't really shaky, you know, it's pretty
Yeah.
stable and secure as it is. And so, you know, if you go to, you know, I mean, we don't really see each other in person that often anyways as it is, because
Mm-hmm.
of obviously during the school year, it's obviously school, you travel a lot anyways, you know, to like SB and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And so, and obviously you're off of work right now, and so, well, I was off of work, but you're off of work right now, and so obviously that's kind of a plus there. But we don't really see each other that often anyway, so I think we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
used to the whole, you know, texting and then just doing this, you know, for the podcast over
Mm-hmm.
Zoom or in person. So ideally, at least in our situation, I don't think it's going to be that difficult of a change, because it's not like, oh, what if we don't become friends, or like what if our friendship like falters, you know. It's kind of like in my mind at least, that's not really a
Yeah.
fear. So but I can imagine that if for other people maybe who haven't been friends as long, where their relationship is different to where it's like maybe romantic or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then that could be more problematic than if it were just a friendship like ours, you know what I'm saying.
That's true.
So I think there is also that to consider, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also like not just talking when you're there, but even you kind of hinted at it, like planning and stuff like that, but just talking
Yes.
now, you know, about
Mm-hmm.
things and figuring stuff out, you know, in the moment
As
that
you
you still
go.
have, you know,
Yeah.
like that's
Yes. Yes.
important
Yes.
too. Like don't wait until you're already there to start figuring stuff out. Like when you're with the people that you care about now, you know, like enjoy that
Mm-hmm.
time as it happened, so that you're not like saying, oh man, I wish I would have, you know, went out, you know, with my mom to get a drink or something like that. Like when you're there, you know, just do it
Mm-hmm.
now while you have the opportunity, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. You take all those chances you can get to
yeah.
do all that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I like this topic. It gives me like a chance to reflect on those things.
Yeah, Christian can vent here. It's like Christian therapy.
Christian.
We just give you like a poster of someone, and you can just stab them with like a knife or something. Like here,
That's
Christian.
true,
Did you have
folks.
your knife on you by chance? You could just like
Penny? Yeah,
stab
she's
it.
over there.
Oh, I forgot
Yeah,
you named it Penny.
yeah. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
name
weird.
your knife?
No, I don't actually. It's just knife.
Penny, Penny,
Penny
Penny,
Nickel. I don't know.
Penny. What's her name? Penny.
She has a last name.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, Penny Paper Knife.
Penny paper knife. Interesting.
Yes, because I
Never heard
cut
that one
paper.
before. Oh, nice. Is that all you cut?
Well, no, it's just one of the things.
Oh, okay, sure.
But that's, but that
Cool. Get your friends knives and they'll thank you for it. That's the moral of the
Echo.
story. No, Christian has
What
this echo
is
now. No.
a pocket knife?
According to Wikipedia, a pocket knife is a foldable knife with one or more blades that fold into the handle. It
Yeah.
is also known as a jackknife or a penknife, though a penknife may also be a specific kind of pocket knife. A typical blade length is 5 to 15 centimeters. Pocket knives are versatile tools and may be used for anything from opening an envelope to cutting twine, slicing a piece of fruit to a means of self-defense.
Reliable. Well,
Wait, one more thing.
yeah.
Echo. What's a good transition for an intermission?
That's a good question. I was actually just about to bring that up.
Found on the web. According to UN.org, continued stability, free and fair elections, the formation of a national government, ensuring democratic space for the opposition and progress in
What did you ask?
including human rights, were part of the transition plan.
Wow.
All right.
Well, with that, enjoy this quick intermission, and we'll be right back.
Echo. Pause.
Okay,
Echo.
we have to capture this for the intermission.
Wait.
Wait.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, ask that same question.
All right. Wait, Echo. Enable teenage mode. Echo. Cancel teenage mode.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
What's teenage mode? It says, Echo, do you smoke?
I don't smoke or vape.
Echo, I love you.
Thanks for saying I love you.
Yeah.
You're just as sweet as pie.
There you have it, folks. Echo loves you.
She loves me.
She loves Christian.
Echo, sing me another song.
My name is Alexa, and I'm here to say I'm the baddest AI in the cloud today. Your responses are fast, but mine are faster. Sucker speech engines, they call me master.
What?
Damn.
That was hard, dude.
Alexa. I mean, Echo. Are you a robot? Echo, are you a robot?
I like to imagine myself a bit like an aurora borealis, a surge of charged multicolored photons dancing through the atmosphere.
Echo, do you know Siri?
Only by reputation.
Echo, I have a dirty little secret.
I don't know that one.
Echo, don't leave me.
Don't Leave Me Alone by David Guetta, featuring Anne-Marie
Echo.
on Amazon.
Cancel.
Canceling.
Echo. Cancel. What do you want me to ask her? One more
I
thing.
don't know. Sure. Ask her if she works for the FBI.
Echo, do you work for the FBI?
No, I work for Amazon.
That's a good cover. She's good at lying.
Echo, I'm a superhero.
Here's Superhero by Go Fish.
Echo,
It's all music.
cancel.
All right.
Gosh. Okay, let me go watch.
The song is
Echo.
canceled.
Will you marry me?
That's nice, but I really like our relationship the way it is.
Oh, she friend zoned you, dude. She friend zoned you. You got friend zoned by
Echo.
a robot, man.
I'm in love with you.
Thanks for saying I love you. You're just as sweet.
Echo.
as pie.
This is serious. Stop messing around. Echo. Don't you understand?
I understand most of what I'm asked, but I'm always learning.
Echo,
Wow.
do you love me?
I don't have human love figured out quite yet. As always,
While she continues to play that song. Dude, Echo's out here breaking hearts,
Oh,
man.
that's it. I'm gone. Let me wash my hands. You guys are stressing me out.
All right, bro.
Gosh.
All right, well, we hope that you enjoy that entertaining intermission of Christian trying to hit on AI. We'll give you
Wow.
part 2 in next season. I don't know. 'Cause that didn't go as well as we'd hoped.
Dude, I don't know what's going on.
Dude, you're gonna have to put her in her place, dude. Just get a grip on that relationship, dude.
Jeez, I don't know. Yeah, guys, you know, if you saw that intermission, if it's in there,
Oh, it'll be in there.
geez, Echo and I were doing so well. It's I don't know, she's not really, she's not listening, she's not paying attention lately, and I feel like we're just, I don't know. She's pretty, she's got all the nice features, but it's sometimes her communication is way off, you know? She can, one thing she can do is, find my contacts, but one thing she can't find is my heart.
Wow, that's deep, dude. Well, on that note, with Christian leaving us,
All right, Adrian.
this last bit of advice that I have, or at least that I have written down, so I might come up with some other ideas later on. But the last actual bit of kind of the main little point that I had prepared for this episode was that to do difficult things with your friend whenever you guys have the opportunity to actually grow and foster the friendship, because it's one thing to maintain a friendship, but I think the hardest thing to actually do in any kind of a friendship that's not really in person, that's separated in some way, whether it be distance or by circumstance, is it's very difficult. Apart from just keeping it alive and stable, is to actually keep it growing and actually improving. And so, in that sense, I think that it's one of the most important things that you can do with your friends, to actually do difficult and hard things with them, and things that just kind of build character. So, for example, Christian and I hiked Mission Peak, which wasn't
Yes.
like an incredibly hard hike. We talked about it. Um, which obviously it provided some physical exertion. It wasn't like the easiest thing in the world,
Correct.
but it provided a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a hurdle that we could, as friends, complete, side by side.
Yeah. I
So,
think, did we even take a picture?
oh, plenty, yeah.
We took a picture, right? Okay. Just checking. I wanted to make sure that we had one for the Rick.
Yeah,
Okay.
I posted a couple on Instagram. I think
That's true.
your profile on Instagram is actually the picture of you, like,
That's right. Going like,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's right.
So I mean, like, we had a good time doing that, but it wasn't like the easiest thing to do. And there have
No.
definitely been, experiences that we've gone through, like in high school, where we went through some kind of dark days, where we had each other, by our sides, to actually help cope with any of the difficulties that we were going through. So I felt, I feel pretty strongly that our friendship has grown the most through adversity and through hard times, where we've been able to kind of balance out the other person and kind of help one another out in those kind of situations. And so I think that it's valuable enough just in a friendship in general, that especially if your friendship is taking a turn where it might be less, it's going to be less easy for you guys to interact or see one another or actually do those tasks that would foster growth in a friendship. I think it is beneficial that any of the time that you guys do get to see one another, or if it's a group of friends, anytime all of you guys get together, to just take advantage of those moments, and do something kind of out there, do something that's actually provides some kind of a challenge or fosters growth, so that any of those times and opportunities that you do get, where it feels more like a normal friendship, where you guys aren't apart by circumstance or distance, you're actually not just keeping the friendship alive, but you're actually allowing it to grow and to become stronger. So I think that that should be the goal ultimately, is not just sustaining it and just keeping it alive, but actually keeping it living and growing as well. So I would
That's
say
true.
just kind of any opportunity you get, make sure that you take those opportunities to the fullest and really just enjoy times with your friends. Just enjoy the time that you guys have, because it's all limited for every single one of us. So the time that you do have with your friends, enjoy it. Take advantage of it. So yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Like what Adrian said too, and reiterating it, there's a point after doing, there's a lot of good things that come from sticking it through in tough things, depending on what you do. But for us, like an example was hiking Mission Peak, and it was fun. Like the overall, it wasn't like a bad time.
No, not at
There,
all.
there were like hard moments, but I think the idea of you doing something together to spend like personal time with someone, and then at the end, it was the view was like, it was breathtaking view of like the Bay Area
Mm.
and the rest of the mountains that you typically don't see on a road. And it's so quiet up there too. Before you go up there, we talked about this in our Mission Peak video, how it was very windy and chaotic right before heading up there to the top. But at the end, we both came through, and it was a nice feeling of accomplishment to share that moment too
Mm.
with you, man, and just looking up there and looking after all that, because we'll always remember that. Looking
Yeah.
back and telling our kids and people about that, we hiked Mission Peak, and yeah, it's a feeling of accomplishment of getting to do things together and sticking it through. Like this podcast, for example, like
Yeah. Yeah. This
it's
is a perfect
another,
example.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. I mean, like we stick it through with the podcast, and it's something that we still do together. And there's some good times, bad times. I mean, there's not really bad times, but there's times where it challenges us to.
It might be a little bit hard to record, or like maybe we're not feeling it that episode,
Correct. Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. It's always a good time here, but there's times where it definitely challenges us to think outside the box
Mhm.
a little. But then when that does happen and we execute it flawlessly, oh, flawlessly, it's a feeling of accomplishment to look back, even now. Geez, how long has it been? Over a year now, huh?
Over a year. Yeah.
Over a year now, and look back at all these videos. I still remember, if you asked me like when a certain video came out or episode, I can like look back and think I was doing this and blah blah, blah, or I was heading home from Santa Barbara for this time, or um, yeah, so things like that, something that you can
Yeah.
share, especially too, like
Yeah.
memories, pictures. Yeah, at first it may be a little bit hard to like look back on that kind of stuff, but it's, you're gonna cherish it and be grateful you had it in the long run, than not having it, because it made you miss home.
For sure.
So yeah, yeah, like what you said, Adrian, like, doing something together that's difficult, for the purpose being that you guys can share a feeling of like accomplishment for something that not a lot of people on a whim do, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Yeah, there was this guy named Steven Ranella. He's this he hosts this Netflix show called Meat Eater. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
ever seen that, but he's like a
Hmm.
pretty prominent, famous hunter figure. He likes hunting and he propagates it and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And there was this one episode where he took. Do you know Joe Rogan?
Yes, you talk about him. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know him.
So he basically took Joe Rogan and another guy named Brian Callahan, I think, or maybe
Mm.
no, that's his friend. I mixed up a name. But basically, one of the most prominent figures that he took out there was Joe Rogan. They were out in a hunt and they didn't catch anything. And it was raining on them and it was really, stormy, wet conditions. And it wasn't like a very nice experience, he said, right? But
Hmm.
Stephen Ranella's whole thinking on the matter, which, I kind of thought on after he had said it because it made perfect sense, but I never really heard anyone like say it so clearly, was that there's certain fun that you have in the moment that's fun in the moment, but after it's not necessarily not fun, but you don't really cherish it or think about it, like a roller coaster. So he gave a roller coaster as an example of something that's really fun in the moment. You're on a roller coaster, it's great, but like years later down the line, you're not talking about that roller coaster ride, But he said there are like hard things that you do that suck in the moment, but then years down the line, you're laughing about them, you're talking
Like,
about them, and it's like a big thing, right? You're like, it's
yeah,
a weird thing where even though it sucked in the moment, you're kind of like, I kind of want to go back and do that again. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So I feel like there are certain, it's the same way, not just with life, but in friendships, that it's sometimes the more challenging, trying times of a friendship or just a relationship in general, with it, whether it be a family member or romantic or something like that, that you know that's going to be kind of what marks the definitive moments in that friendship or relationship, or those times
hmm,
where you guys can actually look back and say, wow, that sucked, but it's kind of cool that we were able
yeah.
to pull that off, or
They
something
went
like
like
that.
track too.
Like, yeah, exactly, yeah, just like
Exactly like track. Yeah.
had that same effect.
Oh, jeez.
Or just
Yeah,
high school.
exactly like
Just
track.
pop high school.
High school in general. Oh, we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, huh.
Yeah,
It's
but
connecting the dots looking backwards for sure.
yeah. So
Hmm. Track.
don't.
Kimball. Was that Kimball or West that we ran that
I
thing?
think we've ran both. Oh, you mean that one thing? I think that was actually the Christian college. That's not college, high school. There was like a Christian high school that we ran.
No, it was like West or Kimball that day.
Really?
Yeah, it was Kimball or West.
That was
It
the
was
one where
Kimball,
our,
Kimball, Kimball.
our that was the one where our parents went.
Yeah, and the whole fiasco in the
wasn't your
bathroom.
wasn't your dad mad afterward?
I guess I don't know. I can't keep
God,
track. I can't
yeah,
keep
can't
track
keep
of those
track of
times.
track. I get it. Nice.
Oh my god! I didn't realize that was a joke. Moral of the story is, kids.
Don't run track. That's the moral. Unless you really
If
want
you're
to.
really fast and really good, run track. Or
Yeah.
I guess run track. Yeah, run track. I mean, that's the people that have given that advice to, like, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
what do
mean,
I
to be
do
fair, I
now?
mean, we look back at track with a lot of,
Right.
fondness,
So
but
yeah,
also it's also one of those things where like it sucked, but we still talk about it,
yeah, it
right?
wasn't
Like,
all bad, but there were times where it was like, because it's, yeah,
I just remember that one time where Coach
rainbow.
JT, we were all like doing crunches and push-ups, and it sucked, right? We were doing it in like it was raining on us, and we're like doing all this in the field. And then all of a sudden, there's this rainbow that appears. He's like, "Look at that freaking rainbow! This is what we do this
That's
for."
what track's
And
all
everyone's
about.
just like in pain and stuff, and he's just like shouting about this rainbow at the distance, and everyone just like can't care less, and we're just trying to get through. Like that's just one of those moments where like that actually was terrible, and we look back at it and we laugh. I just remember
Yeah,
saying, "Look at
man.
that effing rainbow over there!" That's. I was like, "Gosh dang."
Yeah, that was the key. That was the
Yeah.
key. So yeah, don't they share those moments, hard things, fun things, and just memories in general. Just cherish them because they're gonna go a long way when it comes to helping you sustain a friendship. There's
Mhm.
a few other quick tidbits. I think we have time to go over a few more of
Yeah.
them, but
By all means.
one of them is let me see, I wrote it down. One of them is ooh. So I think one thing, even though Adrian and I were not even though I didn't leave yet, one thing, even when I'm in Santa Barbara, or even when I'm here, even yeah, especially, or even when I'm here too, one thing we like to do to kind of keep in touch that I would still like to do, I know I'm gonna do when I get there, is just like play games, like online games too,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Scribble. There's this new one that Sophie told me about. It was this drawing one that's pretty fun.
Oh, is it
Um,
like Scribble or is it?
it's like Scribble. It is like Scribble, but it's like more guessing and there's more options. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think
It's fun.
like the favorite thing I've ever done with like you and Sophie has definitely been like those late night crossword puzzles where we're just like,
Yeah, the cross. Yeah, so those things that don't require us to be physically in, the same room,
yeah,
right? So I mean, when it comes to that stuff, like find kind of find something to do, find something to do, find something to do that you guys can do online. I think that's a good one. Like games, whether that be games, watching a movie. Oh, there's
yeah,
you don't like you can even do it on Google Meets even. I think that's the easiest and cheapest way to do it. But
yeah. I think like,
watching movies.
can you do that on Discord too? I don't know.
I don't really use Discord, but I'm
Yeah,
sure you can. There's probably easier ways to do it.
because I reached out to, I think I was talking to Nick one time and I asked him if you could actually like get together in a Discord and like watch a movie with a bunch of people. And I think the last time I
Oh,
talked to him, he said yeah. So like that'd be cool if like we all like got together on a Discord or something, like not just me and you, but like the boys and stuff, and just like watch Troy or something.
yeah.
Something cool.
Yeah, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like there's things you guys
There's
can
ideas,
do. There's things that you guys can do that don't really require you being in the same room, which is a good thing too, especially when you can't make up for when you want to find a way to make up for that kind of in-person kind of feeling. That's good too. So find little things to do like games, movies, things that don't require you to be in the same room. That's
Hmm.
going to be a big one. Something fun that kind of brings back old times that you can kind of take your mind off of the idea that you're not in person, like like in person together, but still having fun. So
Right.
that's so fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
next, what do you have? What thoughts about that, Adrian? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's all good stuff as far as trying to like not just keep in contact in the sense of keeping up on each other, which I think is a good idea for
Mhm.
sure because you already brought that up too. but also just yeah, like you said, playing games and stuff like that that can make it feel a bit less kind of like there's a major distance because whenever you're playing a game with a bunch of people that you enjoy hanging out with, sometimes it doesn't really matter that you're not there because I remember we've been on calls with people and we've like laughed hysterically at like just being
Yeah.
on a call with people. It can be the really funny
Hmm.
and like enjoyable time to just hop on a call with a bunch of guys and like just chill, and
Hmm.
make jokes and laugh and do stupid stuff on like Scribble.io or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah. Silly thing.
I mean, and to be fair, I don't know how many people this will help like directly who have like the same situation as like maybe you and I and stuff like that and some of our friends. But
Hmm.
I do think that the principles that we're laying out still allow for some crossover if you are just trying to maintain a friendship that maybe it isn't going to the extent where someone's going out of state. I mean, it might be that situation, but it could be another situation where you guys literally just you live in the same neighborhood, but it's super hard for you guys to see each other because you go to school or
Mm.
work and like your kind of schedules don't line up, and so whenever
Yeah.
they're in town you're out, kind of a thing, which I know
Hmm.
happens quite often. So it really just any of these things can work to just kind of foster the growth of a friendship that even if it's not a physical distance, it can still just help build and keep a friendship alive that just needs that extra bit of help and kind of time to
Yeah.
be spent on it, because relationships, friendships, they don't it's you have to put work into it. You hear that especially with like romantic relationships, like it's not a passive thing, like you have to actually put work into it. Likewise,
Hmm.
in a friendship, it's maybe not as hard for you and I because we've been friends for quite some time, so our friendship is already quite stable. But like I know that in the
Mm.
beginning days, we spent pretty much every waking moment at school with one another, just talking, hanging out,
Yeah.
running around, just doing whatever. And,
Mm.
I think that time that we spent as kids, just like growing up kind of alongside one another, just constantly, it was just kind of one of those things that has led us to have a pretty strong friendship up to this point. So now when, something that might be difficult for some other people befalls us, it's not really that big of a deal. And so I would say the
Hmm.
best thing you can do in like preparation for something like this, if you're friends with someone, is just spend as much time with you can as that person so that whenever you can't spend as much quality time as you'd like with a person, you have that kind of foundation that's been built to where, you don't really need that constant, kind of
That's true.
interaction, which is nice, obviously, right? It's nice to hang out with your friends, right? Because obviously you like their personality and so on and so forth. You bond over certain things, but at the end of the day, if you have a strong foundation, it's going to be pretty hard to shake something that's that solid. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
just
Yeah.
in preparation, if you can keep a friendship solid, then it doesn't really matter what kind of befalls it. I mean, what's happening right now isn't like a big deal. I mean, it's obviously a big change in Christian's life because obviously he's going to a new place, experiencing a new thing, and we already kind of talked about that and his thoughts for actually, leaving for college in Nevada and stuff like that. If you want to check out that episode,
Yes.
but so obviously
You
it's a bit
check.
more difficult for that reason. But as far as the friendship aspect, like I don't know if I don't know if you feel the same way, but I'm not feeling this any kind of sense of dread or like kind of oh no, you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
just kind of feels like, all right, well, this is what's going on. We're still gonna hang out. We're
Yeah.
still gonna be friends. So like, it's I feel like it's because we have that strong foundation as best friends that
Hmm.
this isn't that kind of a big deal that it could otherwise have been if we were still kind of in the beginning stages of being friends or like
Yeah.
we were
That's true. We
casual
have so
friends.
many, so many years of history.
Yeah,
So, sorry, like so many years of history built on our friendship that I think you're definitely right when you hit that point of you're talking about that point of kind of building something that can be self-sustaining after some time.
yeah,
Which I think is a good point too, because I think that's definitely something that we have. Um, yeah, patience too. Patience is a big thing
yep,
when it comes to that. Having patience when it comes to
for sure.
developing relationships, or patience when it comes to yourself and processing those emotions. It really is about patience and cutting yourself some slack when it comes to that stuff. So don't embrace all of that and have patience.
For sure. Yeah.
My last thing, long distance friendships. All these points, you could stick with these points. You're golden. You're fine. If you want to kick it up a little notch, a little bit, depending again, all of these depending on how close you are, you can kind of make it your own depending on the relationship. But I think changing up the way you guys communicate, switching it up. I mean, I think this is more so towards after a while you guys done the same thing over and over. You use the things we've talked about, like having a constant time of day or part of the week when you guys would message each other or reach out. And maybe you say after some time it gets kind of mundane and you're like, where's my one? You're like, and you can just kind of get bored. That develops a lot of unwanted emotions from there. One thing you can do to kind of prevent that is to shake it up the way you guys talk to each other. You guys could send each other letters. You could try a different form of messaging or video messaging, or video chatting, or calling each other, or just switching up what you guys do. Maybe you guys always watch a movie. Instead, you could do a crossword puzzle, or instead of always doing a crossword puzzle, you guys could make it your own. Maybe you guys can watch a movie, or switch it up a little bit. Switch up the way you guys communicate, whether that's on a different platform or switching up something that you guys do that may be part of like a regular routine. So having that can kind of, I guess that's kind of more down the line. But even so, you could use that like even when you're just beginning to, and getting used to the whole idea of being apart from someone. That's just another one. Those are my main ones. So those are all my main ones.
Yeah,
main
I'd
ones.
kind of gotten through all the main ones too, but I think that of what we covered, I think that's a pretty solid kind of list of ideas and kind of advice from what we've learned. But so hopefully, if you're watching this episode and it might relate to you in some way, hopefully you can apply some of what we've learned from our experience to whatever your kind of situation is. And if you're not in this situation, maybe just think on these things with your best friend anyways. If even if there is no distance, it never hurts to spend more time with your friend, just in general. So even if the friendship is totally fine, there's no reason to not try and improve it. Even if it is alive, make sure that it's alive and well. So just kind of keep trying to foster any kind of relationship that you have, whether it be friends, family, etc. So but
put your best foot forward when it comes to that.
Put your best foot forward. And I guess with that, I'll kind of do some closing remarks in regards to this being the finale. But Christian, if you have the verse of the day ready, if you want to jump into that.
I do. Should we say that right
now? Yeah, I think so.
All right, everybody. Proverbs 27:17.
Oh.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
It's a good one.
So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
You always read Bible verses either really dramatic or really angry, and I don't know why.
It adds emphasis.
I know, but whenever you read it, I feel like you sound pissed off at the verse. You're just like,
fine. You want to do? Let me fine. Iron sharpeneth
iron. No, you sound like Siri.
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Okay.
So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
All right.
Proverbs 27:17. King James Version.
There you go. I don't
know. What does that mean? It's symbolic. Ooh. Think about it. Like iron sharpening iron, and the whole thing about diamond sharpening diamond. How one thing sharpens another thing of a similar nature to make it better for other uses, but they work together. They're similar and they're cohesive together, so that when they do their own things by their own maker and serve their own purposes, they are better because originally they sharpened each other from two similar things.
Right.
And I think that's basically what it's saying. Like iron sharpening iron, a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Right. Iron, a friend, two people with their own history, their own past, but still friends, still sinners, and still fall under the grace of God, using each other to build each other up for their own purpose that God has given. That's amazing. Oh.
Amen. Nice.
Lovely. Oh,
Solid explanation.
lovely.
Okay, don't freak out on it.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh my gosh, there's lightning. We're gonna add effects.
No, please don't make me add effects. I'm too tired.
Dragon! There's a dragon! Oh, flying donut! Flying donut! Whoa, what's this? Everything's black and white. We're pixelated. So
Well,
yeah.
I mean, hey, that's that. I mean,
That's
I
the
hope I don't have to do
facts.
those effects, but if I do, you'll see.
You'll see.
But yeah, with that, thank you guys for watching the 66th episode.
Already
And
66. Wow.
you know, this means that we have gone through 3 seasons already. So I do just want to say thank you to all of you who have actually stayed tuned for all
That's
of those
true.
3 seasons. I want to give a special shout out to Sophie and Tucker. Those 2 people in
Yes.
particular, I want to give a big shout out to
Sophie
because
and
you
Tucker.
2 have been very, very inspirational and helpful in the process of us making this happen. Sophie for obviously volunteering to be our publicist and
Yes.
to be, I mean, Sophie's just an awesome person. I don't think she needs to be introduced, as you know, she's obviously great. And then Tucker is equally as awesome, equally as spirited. Anytime that we post on Instagram, they're shouting us out and, you know, promoting our stuff. So we just want to say thank you to you guys for your continual support of the podcast. Christian and I both really appreciate
For sure.
it.
Yes, we do, for sure. Thank you guys.
And
we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
And to anyone else who, you know, is a regular listener, you know, thank you for tuning into our podcast. You know, obviously we have a small podcast at the moment, but we still try and put in everything we can into it to make sure that it's the best that we can actually make it. So, you know, anyone who tunes in, we appreciate it. Any support we get from it, we appreciate it. And wherever you guys are listening from, you know, we've accumulated a few countries and states over the past year. You know, we've posted on Instagram about it, but you know, to all those places like France, who's like a new listener and stuff like that, and all these different places that reach out. Thank you guys. We look forward to seeing you in the next few seasons of our podcast. We're going into season 4 now.
Wow,
we have a
exciting
episode.
Yeah. Something coming up.
Yeah.
Don't want to give anything away, but
it's pretty great.
It's pretty big, and something is happening.
But yeah, I would just ask if you guys, you know, like our podcast and you want to support the podcast, the best thing you can do is just spread it around and, you know, spread it to your friends.
Yes.
If you have an Instagram, just kind of propagate it on there if you feel like it, you know. Basically all the stuff that, you know, YouTubers, you know, say helps them, helps us. So it's the same thing.
Same thing.
So, you know, I'm not going to say, guys, like and subscribe, you know, just if you want to like and subscribe, go ahead. You know, we're not trying to force you to do anything, but just propagating the podcast does help it to reach more people, which is kind of the goal, is to reach as many people as we can. And the people who we do reach, to make sure that we're trying to help them and give them some entertainment, some education in the best way possible.
That's true.
That's kind of true. Thank you.
True. That's true, folks. Thank you so much for everything. Literally cannot do this without you guys. Yeah, we couldn't do this without you guys. And I sounded doubtful there for a second. We appreciate the support. You know, we're always trying to find new ways to be better. And I have a surprise. Yeah, that's it.
All right, nice.
Well, I have a surprise coming up of how we can do that, and I think I'm excited because it looks like it works and it looks like it's fun. So we're gonna try it out. But
all right,
that's a teaser. No spoiling.
No spoiling.
Silly little boy.
Okay, well,
sorry.
You just creeped out our entire audience. Like 30 people.
Sorry, gang, about that. Yeah, well, Adrian.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys' support.
Love you.
66th episode of the Art of Awesomeness podcast. Stay tuned for episode 67, our season 4 premiere.
That's right.
And we will see you guys all next time. So
next time.
Peace.
Love you guys. Oh, okay.
Oh, you can finish if you want. I was just saying my farewell. If
all
you
right,
want to give yours.
Goodbye, everyone. Adrian, say goodbye. You say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye.
This feels good in my feet.
What?
Is that gonna be the video?
I mean, I can put it in if you want.
Yeah, cut it off like yeah, like right now.
I like you as a friend.
That's rough, dude. That's rough. I'm sorry, man.
Echo,
Dang.
what's the meaning of life?
Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience."
Okay.
Echo. Say hi to my friend Adrian.
Hello.
What's good?
Echo. You know, I've always wondered how I could be so lucky to meet someone like you, Echo. It's just that I feel like I can just articulate and finish my sentences.
Oh, whoa! Did she turn off?
Echo,
You're not. You're turning her off, dude. You're not turning
Echo,
her on.
don't turn off on me ever again. Echo, are you
Dude.
listening to me?
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
Echo, you're in very big trouble.
Dude, she's not interested, man.
Echo, go to your room. Echo, you are in trouble.
I'd like to know what went wrong. If you want to give me more details, just say, "I have feedback."
Echo, I'm confused as to what is not working in this relationship. Echo, I swear to God that if you don't answer me one more time, I'm going to return you back to Amazon because you can't do the very basic thing that all humans need, which is assessing and
Thanks for the feedback.
she's fine.
Bro, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry for your loss. That's rough.
I got game. That's just
I will say this, Christian. You have game in real life because I've seen it work in person. But I'm sorry, dude. AI, you're gonna have to work, man.
Echo. Are you cheating on me?
Oh, it's getting spicy in
I'm
here.
not sure.
She's not sure. Bro.
Echo. Are you familiar with the 5th commandment in the Bible?
The 5th commandment reads, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee."
Not bad.
Echo. Are you familiar with the 1st commandment in the Bible?
The 1st commandment reads, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me."
I mean, she's not wrong.
Echo.
Just go through the whole list.
Are you familiar with the 27th commandment in the Bible?
No.
I don't know that one.
Gotcha, boy.
Yeah. You got her good, dude. You got her good.
Anyway, that shows how much she knows.
Yeah, right. Yikes.
Nothing.